Hey, hey, hey. Good afternoon. Now, it's a late afternoon here in beautiful Sullivan County in good old Jeffersonville, New York, just not too far away from the amazing Villa Roma Resort and Conference Center, and a beautiful place in need. By the way, my name is Charles Chuck Charlie Chaz of CGM3 Productions, and also a part of a great film team, part of a great film festival, um, film team with Transcending Pictures for the last, wow, with, meeting the amazing Charles Marinaro from the Days of Savior. And it had been like, it just seems like a forever ago. It's like about 11 years. That's right, 11 years, because we just recently had, as of last year, we actually had um, the Savior, obviously the Savior anniversary, the Savior 10-year anniversary, with the complete story of an amazing picture noir reimagined. Great job by Simon, by Jesse, and obviously with Charles, and with back in the day, it was great staff back in the day. Now, we kind of uprooted a little bit of things. Now, obviously, you can tell I've been in the radio business for many decades, and social media kind of give it to a little bit to promote, to create, to keep everything in line, and just keeping even this amazing platform on YouTube, and a little bit behind the scenes. Oh yeah, this is like one of my things. So I'm trying to get. As a matter of fact, I'm going through some time capsules here in the new apartment. I'm getting my stuff together, hopefully in about a few weeks, so I could still continue writing the book called Behind the Scenes, the First 50 Years. And it was just so, you look back on things, and then you do a double take every time. And I'm sure Charles has done it, or many of the artists have been doing this as well. And we all say the same thing. Did we do all this? Yes, we did. As a matter of fact, I remember, it's either from Zoom calls or from a regular phone call, or, going out to dinner, at this undisclosed locations here. And we just chew the fat, we just chew the rag a little bit. And I say, so what's the next step? So I remember in Savior back 10, 11 years ago, I remember Charles mentioning at a restaurant, no less. He said, I am going to do a film festival. And he said, okay, let's do it. I'm like, I'm on board. I know my media expertise. I have my media tools. I know people, and that's basically what you need to do. People to pursue, the product. It's going to be a bigger product, and it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to do it, to promote it, to, write up a, little script, for a press release saying, so and so is going to be on whatever radio station at this time, for an interview, and telling what's going on, in the next few weeks, or on the day of of the week of the, the festivals. So, from Savior, there was definitely irony, interesting thing, and then we did year number 2 over at the Hudson Valley International Film Festival. You know, um, Great facility, great. It was absolutely amazing. You got to see some major stars, got some major things. We even did a one year, and I still remember we did a scholarship fund for up and coming students that are interested in doing in creating, whether it's a music video, directorial debut, good story, what have you, and go to the right college. Because let me tell you something, it's not only about the theory part of it, but it's also the hands-on on it. You can internship and say, this is what I did for this, set numbers from here to here, from being, a crew member, you know, best person, camera, audio, script supervisor, which I had the tremendous privilege to be a part in some of these amazing work. And, I did a little bit of audio work with it as well back in the heyday. So, but the list goes on and on and on. And, how do we do a perfect story? You find a certain person that had the same interests and same energy. So, and we reconvened. We took a couple of years off. Actually, the movie part of it, we kept it going. There's some, there was some planned, which was pretty good. Some was like in the, on the shelves, but we actually got it back together again. So after weeding out a few people, a few things here and there, we continued on down the journey with Transcending Pictures and the next release on the base of, on the foundation of it, in which we did have a reimaging, a renaming, and was up here in Sullivan County, right down the road, down in Calhoun, at the Calhoun Theater. And it was the Catskill International Film Festival. And rightfully so, it's in the Catskill area, right by the Delaware Valley. Beautiful town, beautiful physique. And not only that, we just all completed A Line Between All Things. And again, the privilege was mine to be a part of this team, a part of this. So, I mean, it was everything. I was mainly like a utility worker, utility player to get in there. Even though my car was featured, which was a good thing. That was a little bit of behind the scene quip about it. And, the movie was, absolutely amazing. And just seeing, some of these amazing actors and actresses bringing out, and they're all local too. This is an independent work, and you get to see the top of the tops that are interested. And I go to Charles, I go to a couple of other people, and I said, when you act or when you start, pursuing it, it's like mini consultation, I would say. It's all about the eyes. It's all about being the custodial or the custodian of the character that you have been designated for. So, and that it was just an amazing ride with that part as well. And so, long and behold, on during that time, Charles began to dabble, through Charles Marinero's Productions. Obviously, writer, dibs in music. I could tell you that right now. And podcasting. You know how many times I've been on these podcasts, and it's completely amazing. It's just the thrill of it, being a part of a great team, great questions, solid answers, and all by the truth. And we went from like so many other little, podcasting until, which coming up in a few minutes, which I will mention what's happening right now. So in this, in this evolution of podcasting, everything got to be a little bit better digitally, creating Zoom calls. There's so many other ways you can, create your own, podcast. So, and not only that, on the Future Films with the Independent. So now, as I mentioned before, we held our third, and this is right before COVID now. Keep this in mind. This is right before COVID, the pandemic. We held our third audition in Calhoun, and that poster behind me, executive producer number 2, I'm proud to say, did A Line Between All Things and O2 Injustice. I still can't believe Charles, okay? I think what happened, there was a mix of miscommunication or something along that line that happened. So it happened. And I was, working at a retail outlet, as is essential, making sure everybody was getting their, necessities or what else you need and whatnot. And, ironically, there were some fun facts with this thing too, because two of the independent features were shot on property, shot on location in Sullivan County. It was shot where I used to live. And how we created the offices, or how we created the themes of that movie. It just kept me in mind. Like, for example, for A Line Between All Things, um, it was an apocalyptic way, in a dystopian way, and it in the visionary of how he battled, he battles the battles and everything else, and comes out with the truth of it, and totally amazing story. And that's where everything started to pick up and ran, and that's how we raised the bar, with A Line Between All Things. And then we raised it up to another thing. Again, fun fact, and obviously an Easter egg. Oh, to Injustice. And again, I was just coming home from work. I was exhausted, and somehow, I mean, I was doing marginal work. It's like, consultant, executive producer, and Charles goes to me, "Come on, you're on." I'm saying, "What? What do you mean? You're on? We know what type of skills you got." I was surprised, shocked, while he had something in the back of his mind that he brought it out. And I still look at him every time at that moment with this picture, and I said, "I'm going to kill you. I'm going to get you somehow." I was really ticked off. I was really upset, because nobody wants to really see the nice guy that I am and what I'm going through right now, and especially with the illness, with the chemo, as you've been seeing on my other the journey that I've been doing. But this one is especially for Transcending Pictures, for the film festival, and obviously for this amazing podcast you got to check out. So here we are. I became Jerry, aka the bald guy, very tall, dark. Tools of the trade, and one of my tools of the trade was having a computer. Now, some think I played an impaired part of the family. Now, I really don't want to give away the plot or anything else, or to be a spoiler about it. Yet it'll be online very soon. Don't know when, but it'll be online. It'll be streaming very, very much. And I've been, promoting this and everything else. And and at any rate, the character Jerry, or the ball guy, he's actually the killer. Yep. And it's almost like, as a learning deficit, you learned about a few things. And I learned about discovering myself, rediscovering myself every time, that I was a mute. Okay. Even though I typed on the computer and whatnot, and doing what they said, and like, with the smile of the eyes, with the aggression and whatnot. And it was very, very interesting to pull that out. So, but my tools of the trade was everything what you could think of in a modern day horror movie to what I thought, because a few months ago, again on this platform, that if anybody had seen um, the amazing, his work, his amazing work called Martin Scorsese with The Departed. That had a very much of a very similar line, and how the story. Watch The Departed, and then watch, when you get a chance, watch Up to Injustice. You'll see the almost the irony about him. So, um, but yeah, it was a very interesting thing, and how I developed up this character was, I had, picking and choosing certain places that I didn't want to go again, and using the clash method: confusing, loving, anger, sadness, and happiness. So there's happiness, but it was definitely, I'm going to do something to you, yada yada yada, but in an angrily type of way. So, and I thought about others that are in that same situation, that had a learning deficit, that can't explain themselves, get upset with themselves, and and it's more like, it was definitely anger therapy all in that one shot. It felt pretty good, and it feels pretty good. It felt revealing. That plus, out of that character, I put in a lot of rock and roll tracks, making me feel the way how Jerry would feel, and just let it go. And it was very cool with that, with the one editor saying to, quietly, I did a good job. Let's leave it at that. But my kudos and my credit goes out to the rest of the team. They all did a wonderful job. You got to see Benny, you got to see Stefan, you got to see major characters that made it. Andrew's a blessing to work with. He's another theater writer, using that implementations. Many wonderful independent actors and actresses in the area. So we went with that, and mind you, as Transcending Pictures became an award winner in the independent circuit, and it's great because independent films is where it needs to be. It needs to be local. It needs to be a fresh story outlook. It needs to be something out of the ordinary, out of the box, and where it can be shot, and it gives that placement. Now, there's so many other movies that I was very, very awed to, and it just saying this was absolutely, totally amazing. So, but here we go from Oath to Injustice, and then we moved along to another project, which he did a science fiction timeline. It was like, basically, it had a vision of different time scenarios, and that's what Montreux is all about. Group of astronauts looking for looking for items, and come apart. That one individual saw something he would never ever experience like that ever again, and how can he make to take that second chance? He already had that first chance. It's nice to go back and have that second chance again and live that life out again. Totally perfect. And then here we go. We had the pandemic, we had COVID, and this time we started playing around on digital, with the virtual film festivals. So we had two film festivals that was virtual, one in spring and one in the fall. Phenomenally done. And then really the biggest of the big one, in which we did Mantra. Always wanted to go back to the roots of everything and where everything started, was at the Paramount in Middletown, in which I see his vision, I see what he was doing, but we did it in 8 days. We had a the big one, the fifth one, was totally amazing. Plus, we actually had a soft opening, you know, in the mix of things. But the big thing, we did that in 8 days. And how we did a live version of the opening. There was also a horror fest in there as well. And then obviously was the final. It was the home base at the college, which was totally amazing. And I thank the college for giving us the opportunity to host the award ceremony. And what a great night! It was an absolutely great times and great memories from everybody who participated, and with everything going on with that. And then again, it was quiet, but in between those times where we shot Mantra or we shot Ode to Injustice, there's a couple that I really had to give a shout out to, and that's Pedro and Crystal Tweed for Tweed Talks. And obviously, Tweed Talks is another great podcast, another great video venture, and they brought out some really great questions, and we were a part of this board. I was like a part of it, like laughing and looking up and like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. And it was absolutely amazing. So thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Pedro, for Tweet Talks, for making it happen. Love you guys. You inspire me and I inspire you. And good things have come a long way in many, many things. So, so in between the spots that we did it, that led up to the current feature that it's in post-production right now, thank goodness. In between those times, I started to venture out because I wanted to do a little bit more, having questions that was never, brought on set, get the comments, get the reaction from the director to the cameraman, and we worked with so many great camera, people. The actors were fantastic. Keith Prince for one, Andrew, Sonny's totally amazing. And, the director, obviously with Charles, bringing out the behind the scenes part of it, and the work, the heart and soul of how a motion picture comes together. How an independent, it could be a short or it could be a full feature length, and we got the skill. So I took my, mobile device, which is, good camera quality, and shot video, asked questions at the moment, and put certain to get things together. Now, on this site, you have to look up A Labor of Love, the story behind Mantra. That's the first. That was the first documentary. What Charles did, thought it was absolutely amazing. And then again, that led up to the next thing, which kind of, it was bittersweet in one way. Last year, living life. Remembering the anniversaries, remembering some people. Obviously, you may know from my journeys on this that I have pancreatic and liver cancer stage 4 metastatic. Okay. I really couldn't do as much. I always asked, how are we doing? Or wish I could get out there. But I did. I actually showed up, given that a little bit of inspiration. And I'm using this right now, where this motion picture, this feature that's coming out, it's a masterpiece called Where the High Ends. And I bet you know what it basically partakes. And we raised the bar. We went from Savior and the other productions, and we raised it so high that we're looking forward to doing another project in the immediate future. So here we go again. Um, we just took, our devices, getting some good photos, and from day one, from the auditions to the book read, phenomenal. It was absolutely a phenomenal adventure. And then we shot the movie in this, and it was just an amazing time, to be honest with you. And the behind the scenes thing, it was, you know, picture me taking a picture of you behind the camera or behind the audio set, and just do it silently, just like, but getting that, that image, and said, this is what it is, making it from here to here. That's basically what it was. So we wrapped it up. We had a mini mix, and at a great and again, and actually they hosted, ironically, hint hint, wink wink, my favorite place, the Hurleyville Performing Arts Center, the gem of the Catskills, the gem of Sullivan County. It's a good versatile building for theater, for comedy, for everything else. But we actually had the premiere of Vote to Injustice there. I can't wait until Where the High Ends comes out. That's going to be an amazing place. And then obviously we did, and we did Savior Reimagined there as well. And we did the mix and wrap up party, and we connected with people that had the same strengths, the interest, and everything else. Absolutely amazing night. And then the documentary of how an impact a movie like Where the High Ends is going to be. And I bet somebody that is going through a tough time. So, but it leads it up all the way to right now. And this year started sparking 2026. I overheard the chatter at a few mixers, at a few parties, and Charles brought up the idea that he wants to start doing podcasting again. I said, okay, we're going to raise the bar a little bit for him. So, and it's turning out to be an amazing podcast. Going into the fifth one right now. Episode, I think it's episode fifth or sixth. I'm not quite sure, but the episodes are here on YouTube. Check it out. If you haven't checked it out, what's up? Because if you're a content creator, if you're an artist, if you're a musician, if you're a writer, if you're in the films, if you're doing behind the scene work, this is a great podcast. And obviously, I really don't want to get much into it. I mean, we've seen the evolution of how this is becoming, and it's called The Blank Dive, and it's doing pretty well. It's relaunching something that's an amazing piece, and how as artists, and how we are in a passion area in the industry, whether it be independent or anything that's localized, we always bring out the best of everybody else. So, this is really in kudos to Charles and the team for The Blank Dive, and I must say congratulations to amazing episodes. I can't wait till this week at 7:00. This Thursday, 7:00. Check it out and make it happen. Even though there's some, critics will always be critics. Whether you got the good ones or you got the, certain things that you may not disagree with, but all know it's good, it's fascinating and interesting. So check it out. It's happening every Thursday night, 7 p.m. And what I do believe in this episode's coming, it's called Is It Legal? And legal as in copyright, patent, everything in this modern age, and especially in the digital age. So check it out. And on that note, if you could see the popping of it, the film festival, it's Catskill International Film Festival, but I'm wearing something to throw back, and obviously that, and the story, new place. I'm looking forward to getting my new posters, having it more dolled up. I mean, it's going to be absolutely amazing. As a matter of fact, I took, yeah, it was a very interesting thing, and my extended family got to see it. They were very impressed. So I'm glad, I'm grateful, and I'm blessed that I got the opportunity to work in this, in the passion that it's totally amazing, and being a part of a team. So otherwise, besides my other journeys going on, yeah, we'll have another one coming up at the end of this week, just to let you know. But this time it's for the guys, for Blank Dive, coming up every Thursday at 7 p.m. But this week it's definitely 7 p.m. Thursday with Is It Legal? So on that note, this is Chuck Charlie Chaz from CGEM3 Productions. And again, we'll chat soon. And, as I said with the other four items that I would normally say, but this time it's raising the bar, and definitely it's a win. So on that note, have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the week. Work hard. And I got to use this one other thing from a legendary DJ. Keep your feet on the ground, but keep reaching for the stars. The legendary Casey Kasem. Yep. Keep that in mind. All right. Peace, love, and we'll see you soon.